Greetings, 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 and welcome to the live. Welcome, 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 welcome to the live. Welcome, 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 welcome. Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. And we're going to get into the live where we're talking about the battle between dark and light, which is the ever present battle between narcissists and empaths. Welcome to the live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you wherever you are. We're talking today about dark and light, the battle between narcissists and empaths. Dark and light, the battle between narcissists and empaths. So welcome to the live. Hope you're doing well. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. And we're going to be uncovering this battle between dark and light. The battle between narcissists and empaths. So welcome, come on in, and let's get started. So it's important to realize that the presence of narcissistic abuse is simply a battle between dark and light. Hi, honey buns. It's simply between dark and light. And it is a battle that is as old as this reality has ever been. We're beginning to become more attuned to the presence of narcissistic abuse, largely because of what happened with the shutdown. The shutdown was sort of a pivot into exposing the truth behind everything. But beyond that, there was an activation that happened, which is why we're all able to see and understand narcissism today in a way that we weren't able to understand in a large way in the past. And often you might hear about the notion of the 144,000. Some talk about it in ancient spiritual texts. In science, this is related to junk DNA, 144,000. And you begin to realize that everything that's happening on the planet, particularly if you're an empath who's been through narcissistic abuse, is simply the activation of the narcissist as a child of dark, who activates an empath who is a child of light. And then you might ask the question, well, what's the point of this battle between dark and light? It's the epoch that you see in any spiritual text, that this is the hell realm dictated by pain and suffering, where we as spiritual beings having a human experience have the option of either being good or bad. And the more we choose to optimize for the parts of us that are good, despite the wickedness we experience, is an activation of the divine recognizing its presence in you. That's really the whole game. There's nothing beyond that. So the job of the narcissist is to ensure that you, a light being who doesn't even know that you're a light being until way after the fact, doesn't activate this light. So the narcissist is on a mission to extinguish your light. It doesn't matter if the narcissist is a mother, a father, a grandparent, a husband, a wife. That's the core objective of the narcissist, which is to kill your light. And often, before you met the narcissist, they were undefeated. Excuse me. The narcissist was undefeated prior to meeting you. And they didn't count on the fact that touching an anointed being was going to precipitate their own narcissistic collapse. In other words, the narcissist has a long trail of destroyed beings and bodies before they met you. And because of your kindness and love, they expected you to be a walk in the park as well, because you hadn't woken up to the notion that your kindness and your loving nature was proof of your divine presence. Hey, DJ. In other words, you never believed that you had a divine presence because you're thinking, I'm just this regular, normal human being. How could I have divine presence? Who am I? How could I be that? And the reality is, you actually are that. Yeah, but you don't know that, which is why you've been brainwashed to thinking you're broken, you are damaged, and so forth. Because this is the only way the narcissist can defeat you. The narcissist can only defeat you when they convince you that you're actually less than you actually are. And this is the perennial battle between dark and light. The narcissist's primary objective is to ensure that you are not a full manifestation of the light that is embodied in you. Why? Because if your light is activated, you in turn will activate people assigned to you. And if you activate people assigned to you, they also activate people assigned to them. And if they activate people assigned to them, they also activate people assigned to them. And pretty soon, because of you, there's a long chain of people waking up to their light. And that's often called morphic resonance, which is why there's this notion of the 144,000. That the 144,000 doesn't necessarily mean that only 144,000 people deserve to be awakened. Exactly, domino effect. It is that when 144,000, hey Vicky, are awakened, it leads to what is called morphic resonance. It means that there was more activation of more people waking up to the truth of reality. For example, exactly, non-material tendencies, we all have the capacity. In fact, 144,000, I was just talking about it this morning, is linked to all the junk DNA in your body. There's 144,000 strands of that. And you find 144,000 also appearing in the Hindu cosmology, in the Buddhist cosmology, and so forth. So you realize that 144,000, as used in the Christian cosmology, is a metaphor for how much we impact each other's awakening as empaths. Because when you are awakened, then those assigned to you also awaken. And this is how we create a sea change of awakened beings who wake up to the reality that we are actually on a prison planet and can transition from being on the prison planet to being in heaven on earth. And this requires that you live primarily in the heart, which is very difficult to do because you have to recognize that even your abusers are created by the divine. Even the demons who have been disturbing you for this while didn't create themselves. They are creations of the divine. And so the trick is not to become like your tormentors in chief, because the moment you become like your tormentors in chief, you've capitulated to the dark side. The trick is to live in your heart, realizing that in a world of hate, the most revolutionary thing you can do is to be a person of love. In a world of hate, the most revolutionary thing you can do is to be a person of self-love. Because as you embody self love for a healed empath is different from the transaction of love for an unhealed empath. The unhealed empath thinks if I'm loving to everybody, they would love me in return. That's a transaction. The healed empath realizes that if I'm in a place of love, then anything that is not love cannot harm me because love is my ultimate protection. I don't know if I'm making sense here. This is really what happens when you begin to embody this vibration of loving yourself. It's also to realize that the way you overcome the world around you is not to be savvy like the narcissist who has learned that the way you overcome the world is to manipulate it through darkness and lying. But the way you overcome the world is to come to a place of love. Because let me tell you, achieving love in the context of this epoch we are in called life is almost impossible for the average person. User fall leaves. I'm glad I'm making sense. Why is that, Vicky? Because we live in a world that is predated by hurt people, hurting people, hurting other people, hurting other people, hurting other people. So the cycle of victimhood is the norm. The cycle of healing is the minority. Because most people, exactly, bring in the light, Angel sang, because the world thrives and rewards manipulation, evil, demonic, Machiavellian, psychopathic behaviors. Because those behaviors is what keeps the race in the old paradigm, the capitalist paradigm running. We're no longer in capitalism. We're now in a new epoch called techno-feudalism. But think about capitalism. Capitalism was based on the profit motive, right? Constant profit, which means you need constant workers to feed it. And so there's no place, thank you for that, there's no place for reflection and healing. So you find that narcissists and psychopaths fit very well in it because it's a system of dehumanization. Now that we've shifted to techno-feudalism, where we are all paying digital rent to the owners of the cloud, the feudal world is now in the digital space, right? If you're not familiar with the work of Yanis Varoufakis talking about techno-feudalism, watch it, because we're no longer in capitalism. Anybody who talks about capitalism is talking about a paradigm in history. So you think about, we're now in a techno-feudal era, number one. We're now in the era, Jenny, the name is Yanis Varoufakis, and the term is techno-feudalism. That's the title of the book, but also the description of a new economic system, right? Exactly, the shadow I recognize will take over. So in the era of techno-feudalism, where democracy no longer exists, we're now in an era of something new. What is fit for purpose? The narcissist is beginning to lose. So you find that this is the time and the place for the righteous being. Now, I use the word righteousness in a literal sense, not in a religious sense. What does it mean to be a righteous being? It means that despite the evil and harm around you, you choose the path of wisdom and compassion. That's the path least taken. And choosing the path of wisdom and compassion starts with first, as Angel Sang Maria said, dealing with the shadows within you. Because the only reason why the narcissist has become an entity for demons is because they refuse to deal with their shadows. And the shadows unhealed become receptacle for more negativity. That's why the narcissist becomes a receptacle for the spirit of Jezebel. You see, so you realize that when you understand this, it becomes impossible to dislike or hate a narcissist, because a narcissist is simply a broken person who has become a receptacle for the spirit of Jezebel that has run the planet for more than 500 years. This spirit of Jezebel is what gave us this capitalist, liberal, democratic framework, which has come to an end. I mean, if you watch what's going on in Europe now, between Europe and the Americas, who ever thought that there'll be separation between Europe and the body politic of the United States? Never. But now Europe and the United States are no longer natural allies. This is all divine. This is all spiritual. So you find that the reason why people are losing their minds is that the illusions that they came to accept as real in public institutions are crumbling. In the same way, the illusions of the narcissist are also crumbling. Don't you see what I'm trying to tell you? We are, yes, Eric Trump said we are in the golden age, but we're not in the golden age as he meant it in his recently deleted tweet. We are actually in the Aquarian age, which is the age of divine connection, divine realization, walking into your divine purpose. You know, there's a new book released by Harvard Business Review that says employment is dead. It's spiritual warfare. Employment is dead. Employment is dead. We are no longer in capitalism. We're now in techno-feudalism. We're no longer in democracy. We're now in something new. And yet you're still playing by the rules of the old paradigm. This is what's happening to the narcissists. They're getting exposed and left behind very quickly, because despite the challenges in what we experience in the epoch, it's all based on the lion order, on the spiritual order. So you realize that as soon as you start to embrace this and connect to your deep sense of inner compassion, you are awakening the divine nature in yourself. And when you awaken the divine nature is not dependent on your mind or your ego. It's dependent on your heart. So you cannot predict what the divine nature of you will do, because it's what you do, take an inspired action. And when you take inspired action, this is what the divine does with you. That's the mystery of staying in the present. And the case study for why this is the time of empaths is proven in the world around us. Compassion instead of entitlement. That's exactly it. You look at the world around you and you realize the world around us based on the old paradigm, was filled with meanness, competition, jealousy, hatred, narcissistic abuse, psychopathy, all kinds of strange illnesses, because we successfully turned this earth realm into the hell realm. What is the hell realm? Where you feel suffering. Why? This is why it's no wonder that in the Buddhist cosmology, in the first of the Four Noble Truths, it says life is suffering. Life is suffering. Bro, Softing's asking, where do I get this knowledge from? This knowledge comes from the beyond. What can I tell you? You know, and making learning a lifestyle, and not just learning, but direct realization. There's a difference between speaking from a point of view of theory, which is fine, but it's better to realize what you're learning. This is how it comes into being, soft things, you see? So when you look around you, you realize that the environment has changed. Oh, Jillian, I like that you said that. What do you mean? What do you mean by that, Jillian? Because when you embody direct realization, whether it's a realization of compassion, of your psychic nature, of your clairvoyance, of your understanding, is to wake up the innate, latent spiritual gifts that are within you, which is explained in the 144,000 aligned to junk DNA. There's 144,000 strands of junk DNA within you. Oh, Jillian, you said it. But particularly since we are in the age of Aquarius, which is the age of knowing. Soft things, I'm glad. You speak tree, you speak ga. It's the same. They believe we know, because believing requires a lack of knowledge, whereas knowing is based on direct realization. So what have you realized about yourself since escaping narcissistic abuse? Jazz and laughter, greetings. What have you realized about yourself? Hello, Missy. Who are you? Hey, soft things, Bibiaboko. You see, correct, we have directions. All is the self. And the self unrealized is also still the self. It's the potential of the self coming into union. And you only come into full union when you've purged yourself of anything narcissistic that may even be in you. Knowing that the presence of any narcissism or any darkness in you is to enable the light part of you to shine. Jillian, you're incredible. I just want to invite you to speak. You're just saying some truths here. You sound like a realized being. Tell us a little bit about your story. Who are you, and how did you come to this understanding? You are a being of light, Angel Sang Maria. You absolutely are, right? You actually are. So, and the more you become attuned to purging yourself of evil, wickedness, purging yourself of all things aligned to your old self, is to awaken to your divine nature, because you cannot mix the divine with the profane. You cannot think of yourself as a light being whilst acting as a human being. Exactly, Missy. You see, this is the whole point. And for anyone who wants to join the live and speak up, just invite yourself and I can get your voice in here. I'll pick some random names, right? Jillian, I rose Kundalini in 2019, so my trauma was forced to the surface and I lost my mind. Oh, that Kundalini awakening will do it for you. How did you stabilize and how do you integrate this, right? How did you navigate the battle between the darkness that was all around you? Because this is exactly what it is. And the reason why you are in a test to evolve past the darkness is to show how spiritually gangster you are. Because imagine what kind of person walks into a den of scorpions and comes out the other end without a single bite. That's what it means to be a spiritual gangster. That the demons who come after you begin to become afraid of you because you embody lightness and love in a powerful way. Right? It's taking years. I get it, Jillian. I get it. And the first thing is recognize the shadow. Exactly. It's power over you, Angel Sang. Melissa Towers, I've been purging my old self, then met with a narcissist and had some sort of psychosis. What kind of psychosis? What happened? Oh, I love because they showed me who I was. That's the point, Jillian. We would not have believed in our divine nature until we had gone through this narcissist. Missy, I can tell you're going through it. What the heck is happening in your life? What are these narcissists doing to you? How are they getting away with it, Missy? I want to hear from you, right? I want to invite some random voices into the space. Let's see, Vicky. Let's see if you're interested in coming in. Let's invite you, Vicky, and then maybe we'll invite Missy. Missy, I want to hear from you, Missy. What's on your mind, Missy? Hi, Missy. Hi, Missy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. Tell us, what's your suffering with narcissistic abuse? What happened to you?
Well, keeps going back and forth. And excuse me, I have a nasty cold.
That's okay. That's
So I
okay.
sound funny, but
That's okay.
it's been almost a year. I met this guy, and I knew what he was all about.
Mhm.
But me, who wants to save the world, I kept trying to help him,
Yep.
and he kept swallowing me up. Then it was like, he said to me once,
hmm
and he's afraid he was going to hurt me.
Ooh.
Not physically, mentally. I don't believe, I don't know. I've never seen it. So, and I ended things with him, and he plays games.
Mhm.
I mean, it's so many games, and I've been trying to figure out, and I know that you can be a narcissist, and you can be, what's the other one I'm trying to think of?
What's that?
An avoidant at the same time.
Yes, of course.
He has a lot of traits of both.
I see.
But, after almost 3 months, he called me out of the blue and started to suck me back in.
hmm
But I'm aware. And I said, all right, let's see. And I even told him, I said, do you realize that you're a narcissist?
hmm
And he literally said, I used to be. So I care about him. And I feel, I don't know, I'm always trying to help the underdog. I'm always trying to have a big heart, and I do for everyone.
Yeah.
And so what happened was I started to notice that it was getting worse. Like, he was very disrespectful.
hmm
He became it was very open that he was using me.
Yeah.
And the worst thing that you can do to me is lie to me.
Yeah.
And I kept seeing it over and over again, and I just finally, I went crazy. Even friends know, don't lie to me.
Don't lie to me.
It's the worst thing that you can do.
Yeah.
And this happened last night. I just said, I can't do this anymore.
Can I ask you some questions, Missy?
Please, yes. Please.
Okay. So this will sound like I'm rushing through it, but just for the sake of time, right? So, how's your relationship with your mother?
Incredible.
How's your relationship with your father?
Gone.
What do you mean gone?
He left when I was 3.
Where did he go?
My parents got separated, and he left. And he did come back when I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
And we tried to have a relationship, but it was, I don't know. It was, how do I put this? It was empty.
It was empty. How did it make you feel that you lived over 10 years without him being a presence in your life?
I have to tell you that I didn't, and I'm holding my hands up with quotations when I say this.
Yeah.
I did not let it upset me.
Yeah.
But now I'm in therapy.
Yes.
And I realized how much it did upset me.
Exactly. So do you see what has happened here?
I do, but I'm struggling with it.
What has happened?
It's an avoidance thing. I'm choosing narcissistic because I truly believe, now that I look back at it, that my father is narcissistic.
Well, that's not the only thing. May I offer a perspective?
Please.
Yes. Because you've internalized this father wound, you expect to be left unabandoned. So subconsciously, you attract that because there's no trust in anything except abandonment. So your whole mentality subconsciously is designed to seek experiences that confirm for you that men are not safe because the original first love in your life was absent and unsafe, confirming for you that you were junk DNA. Am I speaking to myself?
No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What do you? What's your reaction to what I just shared with you?
Okay, my reaction is you're probably correct. And I've been digging deep, and some of these comments are like taking me back. I'm like, this is serious stuff.
It is serious stuff. It is serious stuff because at a subconscious level, you've told yourself that you're not worthy of real love. That's the only reason why you've attracted these narcissists into your life. And the
This is
reason
my
why,
first narcissist. I have had really great relationships
yeah,
in the past. One of them I was with for 14 years.
yeah,
And then another one I was with for 9 years, and it was so different than what I'm experiencing.
what was different? Why did those two relationships end? These relationships were so great. Why did they end?
Because there was so much love between us that I picked. I'll give an example of my 14-year relationship,
Yeah.
but there was nothing that guy till this day, even though we've been separated.
Yeah,
Nothing he wouldn't do for me.
Yeah.
Just genuine. We were apart.
so who ended the relationship?
I did.
Yeah, because you were bored. He was available and nice and kind.
You're so right.
Jesus, why are you playing these games, Missy? You're like, I had the best relationships. I had the best. No, you didn't. You left it because it was safe and boring.
You're right.
Yeah, my dear. And you're wondering why you're.
Oh my gosh, I have to book a session with you.
Please do that.
Oh my God.
Now let's talk. Now you're ready to see the truth. Because you were living in this illusion that this is perfect, not knowing that the program from your past hurt was what's dictating these relationships. It is you, and he's still in love with you, but you couldn't take it because there was nothing exciting about it. It was too safe. And him being safe reveals your wounds.
Yes. That's great. It's crazy.
It's crazy. How is this making you feel hearing me say this right now before I let you go?
Honestly, I'm laughing, but deep down inside I want to cry.
Why?
If I were to be totally honest.
Why?
I guess because it's painful.
You're ready for the truth, my dear sister. You've been living with illusions for so long. And this is what narcissists come to teach us. You're ready to walk into your power. And you've been not aware that you've been a self-saboteur in your life and in your relationships. Walking with the illusion that we're fine. This is what you've done to yourself. This is what we do to ourselves. We lie to ourselves.
Yes. And to be honest with you,
yes,
I met someone else who is just the opposite. I mean,
yeah.
And it's scary because once again, I guess that feeling of, oh boy, it's going to be boring. I'm not going to.
You got it. Oh, you know what? I love that you said that, and I love you for that, Missy. And I want you to, if you feel like it, book a session and let's talk, because you are just been given the best gift, which is the gift of waking up from your own illusions and delusions.
You know what? I have to tell you, through everything,
yes,
even my own therapy, and
yes,
I have been crying a lot.
Good.
I feel like crying now.
Yes.
But I'm real with myself, and that's the first step, and I believe that.
That's right.
I'm honest.
That's right.
Even if it's gut-wrenching, I'm honest.
Exactly. And this is why I thank you for giving me permission to speak the truth to you, right? Because the only reason why I did is because I felt the permission from you. And I just want to let you know that this has come, everybody's saying it global, this has come to save you and free you. So embrace it. You heard me? Embrace it, Missy.
It's so painful.
It is.
It really is.
But
I know I have to go through this. I'm not young anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized after, I'll tell you quickly, I know we're in a hurry, but 20 years, my last relationship, that was for 9 years, That ended because he didn't want to be a dad, and I got pregnant.
Yeah.
And left, and I have dedicated my life not to myself, but to my son.
Yes.
And I have not dated. It's been 18 years.
That's right.
So now getting back out there, the first thing I do is I hit someone that's a narcissist.
No. The only reason why the narcissist came in your life is to clear the air so you could purge yourself and then therefore attract your kingdom partner. Don't you see the whole game?
God's telling me something.
You got it. You got it. That's exactly what's happening. There's a revelation for you. And so I just want to send you a lot of good energy with and certainly allowing yourself to hear some of these truths, particularly in this public forum. And we're here for you. Just reach out if you want, or just keep coming back. And just know that you're not alone. We're all in this together. Yeah?
Thank you so much. And I'm going to book a session with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Missy. I appreciate you too. Yes?
Yes,
God bless. God bless. God bless. God bless. Oh, Lord. You see the whole thing? This is what's happening. You see? This is real pain. Treasure Star, I'm grateful for you. Global, embarrassed for not trusting our compass. You said it. Hi, Angels. How are you?
Hello.
Angel San Maria. How's life treating you?
Not so great. I will just tell you about my experience.
Let's hear it.
Briefly.
Go for it. Let's go for it.
I had to, over a period of probably 5 years, recognize the truth of the person in the world that I loved more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it nearly destroyed me on so many levels.
Wow.
First of all, I'm very happily married. My husband isn't the issue at all.
Yes.
He's an amazing man.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was diagnosed with my terminal illness,
Mm-hmm.
I started recognizing things about my daughter. And I was a single parent for most of her life. And she told me at the time of my diagnosis, she didn't say a word about my illness, but she said, I hope you're not expecting me to help you because I'm already too busy as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then things continually got worse from that period of time. And I had to see things about my own child that I refused to acknowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Other people told me the truth about her,
Mm-hmm.
but I refused to acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm.
And I refused to see it because all I saw was the beautiful child
That's right.
that I'd given birth to and I loved so dearly. But throughout this entire process, she's never once inquired about my illness or my trips to the Mayo Clinic or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, she was so far in the other direction that she started telling people that I wasn't really sick.
Wow.
I finally had to get letters from my Mayo neurologist and my hematologist to tell her the truth about the seriousness of my illness
Mm-hmm.
and how it was indeed a terminal illness.
Mm.
And I gave her the letters, which both of them were baffled why I would even ask for a letter like that,
Mm.
because they've never had a patient ask for something like that. And when I gave her the letters, she just gave them a cursory glance
Mm-hmm.
and never said another word about them. Throughout this time period, she started accusing me of being a horrible mother, which all of my friends and family knew that wasn't the case.
Mm-hmm.
They were with me that time
Mm-hmm.
and saw how I went out of my way to let her be her own person, to give her everything in life that I had to offer,
Mm-hmm.
to turn away my own interests and my own desires so that she could have the kind of life I promised her
Mm-hmm.
while she was in the womb.
Mm-hmm.
And she just became more and more cruel, more and more attacking,
Mm-hmm.
found other things to attack me about, and finally stopped allowing me contact with my 3 grandchildren.
Wow.
Which I took care of from the time they were born until they went to school.
Mm-hmm.
So it was absolutely devastating for me. There wasn't a day that went by that I wasn't in a puddle of tears, not only for her, but for the loss of them in my life.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I wanted to unalive myself.
Ooh.
Because of the loss of them. I felt it so deeply in my soul. And the loss of her. Because she didn't care about me. And I refused to see the truth.
Yeah.
And to the last time that I had communication with her, I haven't seen her or talked to her in 2 years.
2 years.
And the same with my grandchildren. Because I haven't been allowed to. And I finally, through a lot of friends and my husband talking to me, saw the truth in her that I hadn't wanted to see.
Wow.
The entitlement that I hadn't wanted to see.
Yeah.
The judgment and unforgiving nature I hadn't wanted to see. And just two days ago, I wrote her a letter telling her that, I will love her throughout my life.
Beautiful.
And the same with my grandchildren.
Beautiful.
There's nothing I wouldn't do for them.
Beautiful.
But only I have to step away. Because what they're doing is killing me.
It is. That's why you're terminally ill. Can I ask you some questions?
Yes, sure.
Thank you so much. Well, first of all, there's a lot of layers here. But I have to ask you, is she your only child or do you have other children?
No, she's my only child.
She's your only child. And is your husband her father?
No.
Okay. Beautiful. What is the nature of your relationship with her father?
It wasn't good in the beginning because he didn't want to have anything to do with that life. I found out later.
Yeah.
He was engaged to someone and married 6 weeks after I had her.
After you had her.
But we resolved all that.
Got it.
She's friends with his other children.
Yes.
But she refuses to have anything to do with him.
I see.
I've highly encouraged her to resolve that and speak to him. Because he's a good man. We were just young and stupid.
No, you weren't stupid at all, actually. I'm curious, and if I'm being too intrusive, just push back. How was your relationship with your own parents coming up?
I was in a family of 10. My mother was my best friend in my whole life.
Yeah.
And I had assumed that this would be the case with my own daughter because of how close we were. My dad was a hardcore Marine who had 7 sons.
Yeah.
But I loved my dad in a way that none of them did.
Yes.
My dad was also very intelligent. He was very well read.
Yes.
And he and I talked about literature. We talked about things. And I loved him dearly.
But what was he like as a father?
As a father?
Yes.
He worked as hard as he could to keep a family of 10 going.
Okay, I got it.
I saw that. I recognized that. He also had 7 heart attacks.
7 heart attacks.
During the time of my life.
Do you want to hear what's coming up for me, Angel Side? I may be wrong, but I have to share with you with your permission. Do you want to hear it?
I'm open.
Thank you. You're actually bypassing the trauma that existed in your own early experiences. Because the relationship with your father is what led you to your daughter's father. There's a wounded father image there that led you to him. So that's the first time. And because you never resolved that fully because you were bypassing, it became an adaptive toxicity which turned your daughter from being hurt and unseen into a full-blown narcissist. Because the spirit of narcissist runs through your lineage. So you are at a point where you're releasing. But the thing to do is to psychically forgive your father, her father, and her, and her.
I had to work through that.
Yes.
But I had to get to a point. If you talked to me maybe 15 years ago,
yes,
you wouldn't have heard that kind of love from my father coming out.
That's right. Good, good, good. Very good. Very good. Very good. I hear you. So you are the tail end of it. And because you've internalized a lot of trauma, I'm going to say this sensitively and I offend you. Please forgive me, okay? Please. Please.
The truth never harms.
Oh, thank you. The reason why you have this ailment is because of it's proof of your internal emotional state. You've dealt with a lot of trauma and drama and wickedness silently. You've suffered in silence. This is, am I being insensitive or am I telling the truth, Angel Sang?
No, that's the way I deal with things. I have to intellectualize it and physically feel it in my body.
That's exactly why you have this terminal thing. And the way to free yourself is what you did, writing that letter to your daughter, which is and don't have any expectations. And then the ultimate person to forgive is you, because you deserve self-compassion, my dear sister. Don't you see it?
My husband says that to me all the time.
Oh, I love you. I love you. I'm with you. I'm giving you a hug wherever you are.
Thank you.
I'm hugging you. You could be my sister. You could be my mother. You could be my auntie. I'm hugging you and I'm holding you virtually. You're not alone. You have just hit the final mile of releasing. And when you release this, I'm not a medical professional. Don't be surprised that all of a sudden your terminal illness is no longer terminal.
Oh, it's a blood disorder.
Exactly. It doesn't matter what it is. We're dealing with the heart. We're dealing with the heart.
Yeah.
We're dealing with the heart. You deserve to drop this life imprisonment, Angel. Let it go. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. You didn't do anything wrong. You just had difficult circumstances that you made the best of. Because even you're talking about difficult circumstances with appreciation. That's the quality of heart you have. And the moment you forgive yourself, your daughter has no option because psychically something will happen to her.
Yes.
And this is where you are. This is all about you. It's not about your daughter. It's to realize that you are worthy. You're fortunate to have this lovely husband. You are worthy, Angel, and let go of all the self-judgment and internal illness that you've let your heart go through that is now manifesting as a terminal illness. This is all about letting go. And as a number of people are saying, letting go and forgive. Even Jenny Lou said, I wish I had a mom like you. That's how beautiful you are.
Thank you.
So I just want to say that you're not alone. I can feel that you just let go of a lot of things right now. I can feel it. And I just want to let you know that your best life is just beginning, because your thoughts to yourself are now going to be healing, loving thoughts. Do you see?
And you know what's so meaningful to me in
What?
you just said?
What?
The biggest component of my mental health
Yes.
is pain, because I have problems with nerve damage.
Yes.
And it progressed from my feet all the way up to my knees. I'll be wheelchair bound in another year.
It's okay.
And from my head up to my elbows. And the pain is excruciating. And there hasn't been a day in 5 years where the pain hasn't affected me. I'm on fentanyl, morphine, and methadone, and it still doesn't address my pain.
You know what?
It's like
I want to give you some medicine for your pain. I want you to look at me, okay? This is for you. This is for you.
I wish I could.
This is for you. Rejoice. 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 Because you've just found freedom. This is the beginning of your freedom, not your attachment to your identity around your illness. This is the beginning. You're letting go, you're releasing, and you are inspiring me. You are inspiring all of us over here. Do you hear me, my dear sister?
I'm bedbound.
You're what?
I'm bedbound.
I know.
But I can do it in my heart.
Do it in your heart. That's where it begins. and find a reason to move your body and dance today. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I want you to remember me and dance. Even if it's just moving your fingers, just do that. This is how it begins. Do you see what I'm saying?
I totally do, and I completely thank you and bless you as you've opened a door for me.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you gave me the opportunity to. And I want to send you lots of love, and you're welcome back here anytime you want. You hear me?
Thank you so much.
One love, one love, one love, one love. Jeez! Ja love. What else can I say? What else can I say? What an incredible person and being. Angel, bedbound, terminal illness. This is what narcissism does. It makes you sick. It's supposed to kill you until you start to say, no, no mas, no more. I'm overcome with gratitude too, Angel. And thank you for blessing us with your story. What's your question, Devin? What's your question? Jenny, you are amazing too. Oh, it's me, Breezy Base. What can I tell you? Treasure Star, Wagwan. Cultivating courage. I have MS and I'm deeply aware that at least in part it reflects unresolved emotional trauma. Cultivating courage, you are courageous. And I love you for saying that. This is the story. I love you too, Jenny. Dawn Marie, what you saying? Mama Mary, the body keeps score, as the book says by Van der Kolk. The body keeps score. That's what's happened to Angel. You see the trauma, there's layers and layers, and when we begin to free ourselves by forgiving ourselves, we become more light beings. You see, so when you see me hopping and dancing around, this is serial bigness, because you have to celebrate. We can heal from everything and anything. You said it, Dawn Marie. Medea. Give thanks, Tresha. Oh, give thanks, give thanks. I just want to thank you all for listening, for paying attention, for holding space, for everyone who shared today. Whatever you shared blessed all of us. We're teaching each other, Jenny. We are. We are in this together. Missy, don't forget what I said to you. No more bypassing, you know? So, my family, global, that's exactly it. Understanding and knowledge. I just want to send you lots of love this weekend. Remember to find a reason to celebrate today. It doesn't matter what it is. As long as you're breathing, celebrate something because you're an overcomer. Exactly. Dawn Marie, she would dance and they won't believe it because it's coming, it's divine healing. Oh, family, friends, thank you so much. Yeah. I send you love and peace and healing wherever you are. And inshallah, we'll see you same time on Monday. Yes. I'm so moved by these stories. Thank you. Jalo, yeah? Jalo. Jalo.